Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram. Okay, so I'll just share it. Not everyone has come now. Only 11 devotees have come. So this was out of 60. Santosh Prabhu, are you there? Make sure you write your initiated name because I think he's initiated. No, you should write your initiated name. That's always better. Okay, so this is out of 60. So I think only these many devotees have submitted 13 or something. So some of you have written really nice points. Others, little problem with the points, like it's been like same repeated points. But always it's nice if you give me some nice references. Okay, so try to improve next time. So we'll continue with 15.11. So this was Purushottam Yoga, and we saw about the transmigration of the soul. What was the example Prabhupada gives about the transmigration of the soul? Does anyone remember? Analogy? Like what? We have to start with 11. Like the transmigration of the soul was like?
Hare Krishna Mataji, like air carrying the aroma.
Yeah, the air carrying aroma, right? Okay, so we know that the air is not attached. Aishwarya Mataji, you can share the attendance link. You have it now. So you have network problem. Okay, I have it. I'll share it later. No problem. Okay, so yes, like air carrying the aroma. And we saw that only a person in knowledge can see that the transmigration really happens. The soul transmigration. And he is the real knower because he's seen that yes, the soul doesn't die, it just transmigrates from one body to another. Yatanto yoginaschainam pashyantyaatmani avasthitam yatanto api akritatmano nainam pashyante chedasaha. Endeavoring transcenders who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. Those whose minds are not developed and are not settled in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. So somebody who's in knowledge can see that yes, transmigration is happening. The others will think that, oh, I lost that person forever. That's okay. So every living entity is quitting his body under certain circumstances. He's living under certain circumstances and he's enjoying under certain circumstances, under the spell of material nature. As a result, he's suffering different kinds of happiness and distress under the illusion of sense enjoyment. Okay, so why do we say happiness is also suffering? Suffering, different kind of happiness. Okay, distress is a suffering, that means. But how happiness is also a suffering?
Mataji, in happiness, we are mostly satisfied. We don't want to progress. Like if we have a lot of money, why we want to approach God? So we always be satisfied in our happiness.
Okay. And Sharan Prabhu says it's temporary. Yes, the happiness in this material world is temporary. Okay, because this is dukhalema shashvatam. No point in searching for happiness here. We will get dukkha only. But Prabhupada says here that the happiness in this material world has a beginning and an end. Okay, so in material world it's like that. Yeah, so it is dukhalema and ashashvatam. It's temporary also. Okay. So a person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence. Therefore, those are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give their knowledge to the people in general, for their conditioned life is very troublesome. And they should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world. So if we see the material world, we know everybody is suffering. If they say that they don't have disease, old age, okay, all that, but still birth and death is there. And also Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidevik kleshas are there for everybody. Like anytime anything can happen. We can't predict when earthquake will come, when tsunami will come. We don't know the natural disasters. And also about Adibautik, like other living entities causing trouble to us. And Adhyatmik, our own body and soul. No? So that also can cause stress to us. So Prosa Transmigration Prabhupada says, once placed in some particular type of body, it comes under the control of nature. And because the body being matter acts according to the law of nature, at that time the living entity has no power to change that law. Suppose an entity is put in the body of a dog. As soon as he is put in the body of a dog, he must act like a dog. He cannot act otherwise. And if the living entity is put in the body of a hog, it's supposed to eat stool and act like a hog. Is there any example where somebody became a pig hog and by a curse?
Mataji Indra.
Indra, no? So Indra became a hog. And then when even Brahma went and called Indra back, he didn't go. He's like, no, I'm enjoying with my family and I'm eating stool. So he was happy even in being that in the hog body. So we don't know. Even our pig thinks he's happy. But as Krishna conscious person, we know that that soul in that pig is suffering. And the suffering. That's why we have this Harinam Sankirtan and all happening. Why? Because devotees go into streets and all different parts of the world chanting the holy name of the Lord loudly so that these living entities, the trees, the plants, and all these dogs and hogs and pigs, those who cannot come to the temple, they are living and they are animals, they will also get liberated, or they will also get a chance to become devotee next life just by hearing that Harinam. So Harinam Sankirtan is so powerful in that way. So 15th chapter, 12 to 15 sloka is about appreciating Krishna's position as our maintainer in this world. He is our maintainer actually. Nityo Nityanam Chedanas Chedananam Eko Bahunamya Vittadikam. Eko, just one person. Krishna is enough to maintain everything. We think our boss is giving us salary and because of our job we are able to live and our everything, our business, whatever it is. But actually, Krishna is the one who supplied, or Krishna is the one who have arranged for all these facilities for us according to our karma. So he is actually our maintainer. Yet Aditya Gadam Tejo Jagat Pashe De Atinap Yet Chandramasi Yet Chakno Tat Tejo Vidimamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from Krishna. And the splendor of the moon, splendor of the fire are also coming from Krishna. So the sun and the moon are what of Krishna? They are the eyes. Yes. Yachak Shirena Savita Sakala Grahanam. So it's the eyes of the Lord. Okay, Krishna is our maintainer at cosmic level, source of the sun and the moon and the fire. Also, it says Nadat Bashe De Surya Nashashangana Power. There is no need of sun and moon in Krishna's world because it's self-eliminating. So the sun is also Krishna. Krishna is Surya Sama and Maya Bhayan. So Krishna is like the sun, and even the moon is Krishna. And also, he is the one who actually gives juices to these vegetables and fruits. And also, he is the fire of our digestion. So in that way, Krishna is everything for us. He is energy, Krishna's energy. Okay, the splendor of the sun and which dissipate the darkness. So he is Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Bhayan. Krishna Tahanahi Maya. Krishna is like Surya. And also in Bhagavad Gita, they said, Nakshatra Namakam Shashi. Krishna says, out of all the nakshatra, the stars, he is the moon. So he himself says, so when you see Purnima, you see the full moon, you should definitely remember the Lord. Okay. And the sun, the bright sun. So these are all Krishna's energy. Gam avishya bhutani dharyami ahamojasa pushnami chashadau sarva soma bhutwara sadhaka. So he entered into each planet. By his energy, they stay in the orbit. He becomes the moon, and by supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So Krishna is the energy which brings all these planets in that orbit and stays in that orbit. Is there any analogy Prabhupada gives? Any example in the purport to prove means like his energy? How the planets are floating in the sky. You're not reading and coming. Nobody is reading and coming. Any example? Okay, example of a handful of dust. What is it? Handful of dust. Handful of dust. Yes, Rajlakshmi Devi. You know? Handful of dust. Okay, so you hold some dust in the hand, it stays in that place. But as soon as you leave that hand, what happens? All the dust drops down. Okay, so when you hold some handful of dust in your hand, the dust stays there or the sand. But this, as soon as you drop them, it all falls. So similarly, Krishna is holding all these planetary system in the orbits. It's because of Krishna's energy, they are staying in that orbit. And as soon as the energy is withdrawn, the whole planet collapses or everything collapses. So it's Krishna who's actually staying. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport that you can see the different planetary system floating in the space. It's due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality Godhead. This energy is sustaining each and every planet like the handful of dust. If someone holds a handful of dust, there is no possibility of dust falling down, right? But if one throws it in the air, it will fall. Similarly, these planets which are floating in the air are actually held in the fist of the universal form of the Lord. By his strength and energy, all moving and non-moving stays in their place. So this is again a Bhakti Shastri question for you. How is the dust in the hand, how it is floating, or how it is standing there? That once. And also another analogy, the 7th chapter we learned, how Krishna is an example of a necklace. Anybody remembers?
Yes, Mataji, as the pearl holds the
pearls are strung on the thread.
beads.
You can't see the thread, but there are pearls. So because of the thread, the pearls are staying. Similarly, because of Krishna, the whole universe is staying like that. Matta paradanam nani and pinjita stidan and jaya ai sarvamitam protam sutre manigana iva. Sutre manigana iva, like the pearls in the necklace. So that's how Krishna is holding the whole universe. But people don't know. I was listening to Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, there is an operator for every machine. Even though you say it's an automatic machine, still, at least you have to on the power button. Power button doesn't get on its own. So there is a operator behind every the system in this universe, in this planet. So this universe is like a bigger operating system. Will there not be an operator behind that? Yes, it's there. So that is the Lord. Aham Vaishnavaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayuktam Pachamanyam Chaturvitam. So Krishna is the fire of digestion and in the all living entities. And he will join with the air of life outgoing and incoming to digest the 4 kind of foodstuffs. So Pachamanyam Chaturvikam. What are the 4 types of foodstuffs? Yes, Kusamala.
Drink chewable.
Yes, chewable.
Drinking material.
No, Kusamlata Mataji raised her hand. Yes, Mataji. Should respect them.
This aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranapana samayuktas pachamyanyahi chaturvidam. This shloka is read before taking meals.
Before taking
food.
Okay, what are the 4 kinds of foodstuffs? Pachamanyam Chaturvidam, right? 4 types.
Yeah, but is this shloka read before taking meals?
No.
I wanted to ask you.
You can recite because Krishna, just to remind us that Krishna is the fire of digestion and he is helping us to digest all these food. But normally before prasadam we chant Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmanya Vaishnave Swalpapunya Vasismadan Rajan. So that there is another prasad mantra for us given by Bhakti Vinodha Thakur. You know the 4 kinds of foodstuff, Mataji. Okay, Rajalakshmi Mataji, you can tell.
Foodstuff that we drink, chew.
That we drink, chewing, yes.
And sucked, licked.
Sucking and licked, yes. So these are the 4 kinds of footsteps, okay, that is mentioned towards the end of the purport. You can see the 4 kinds of footsteps. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked. So Krishna is the digestive force for all of them. So Krishna helps us. Just imagine one day Krishna doesn't help us in digestion, then all of us will have indigestion problem. All of us will be having gastric problems. So even for digesting the food we eat, and where is the food coming from? People might say, oh, we are making it, we are processing it, whatever. But who is actually giving that raw materials or who is giving that seed? It's the Lord, right? Who is who's giving the rain for the crops, and everything is supplied by the Lord. So to get the food itself, we need the Lord, and then we cook it and we have it, and then for digestion also we need the Lord. So before eating it, we offer to the Lord and take it as prasad. So there is karma-free food. The 15th chapter, 15th sloka is very important sloka. It says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtu matta svedityanam apohanam cha vedaisha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videvacha. Krishna says he seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtu. Krishna is in everyone's heart, every living entity, not only human beings. And matta smritir jnanam. He is the one who gives us forgetfulness, remembrance, and everything. How? Okay, remembrance is useful for us. But how is forgetfulness helping us? Normally, especially students, they say, no, forgetfulness is not good. But how do you say forgetfulness is good?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. We
Fine.
can forget sadness and all, no? I
Yes,
mean,
that is-
not good experience one.
Yes, that is one important thing. Yes, Prabhu, want to add something?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Krishna helps us forget what happened in our last lives.
Yeah, past lives. So we
Past.
had 84 lakh species life. Yes, Prabhu. So just imagine if we were in the body of a lion or tiger, we might have come through different species. No, we don't know. According to our karma, we don't know which species we have gone through. And would have done so many sinful activities in that life. So just imagine, as Mataji said, we can forget our suffering. In this life itself, suffering, people cannot forget, and they go to depression and they take antipsychotic drugs, and they even sleeping pills to get sleep. Insomnia is the biggest disease now. People doesn't get sleep only. If you don't sleep properly, your health is going to be collapsed. So people are in so much stress and anxiety, all because they're remembering the sufferings. So in this life, we have suffering and we are trying to forget it. Just imagine so many janmas, whatever sinful as things we have done. If we have remembered all that, we couldn't even live. Now thinking that, oh, I was like that in my last janma, or I was like this, I was like this. And Krishna is making us forget all that. Krishna also makes us forget that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We also makes us forget that we are spirit soul. That is Maya's trap again. But still, Krishna himself will give the remembrance also, right? So because he comes as spiritual master, he comes as scriptures, he comes as the holy name to make us remember him. So, yena kena pragarena mana Krishna nanivishyata. Goswami says, somehow or other, get your mind absorbed in Krishna. Might be you're good at cooking, cook different types of varieties of foodstuffs. We are not like Radharani, who Radharani never repeats a dish because she got a boon from Durvasa Muni. But we are not like that. At least we try to do nice offering for Krishna. If you're doing nice stitching, there is one Mataji who stitched beautiful garments for Radha Govinda. So she likes stitching, and now she's concentrating her whole energy into that. So then what happens? She's actually trying to please the Lord, and she remembers the Lord when she's doing that. Somehow, whichever aspect is strong in you, try to use that in Krishna's service. And that way, Krishna, you can remember Krishna. So, Matta's brother, yes, Krishna also helps us to forget things. And Vedaisha Sarve Rahami with the purpose of studying the Vedas and doing Bhakti Shastri, all that is to remember Krishna, to know Krishna. Okay, Ahameva Vedya, Krishna says to know Krishna. That is the use of studying Vedas. And Vedanta Veda Videvacha. He is the one who compiled the Vedas as Veda Vedas. So as Paramatma, Krishna initiates all the activities. He gives us the knowledge. He also gives us the remembrance and also forgetfulness. Okay, about our past life. Not only past life, even this life, so many sufferings and everything. We try to forget. So Vedanta Krita, as Veda Vyas, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, the Lord in his incarnation as Veda Vyas compiled the Vedanta Sutra. And here the Lord is giving in summary the contents of the Vedanta Sutra. So contents of the Vedanta Sutra is again Bhagavatam. The explanation is Bhagavatam, and contents are also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So the ultimate goal of studying the Vedas is to know the Lord, because some Chaturvedis comes and challenges Prabhupada, and because they've studied all the Vedas, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Rigveda, all that. And Prabhupada never concentrated on all that part, because he has already given us Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think, which is more than enough to understand the content of the Vedas. And they start arguing with Prabhupada, and finally Prabhupada's like, okay, it's okay, you've wasted so many years in studying Vedas. So what is your conclusion? Who's God? So they were not able to give to the conclusion. And the 5-year-old Saraswati, who was Malti Devi Mataji's daughter, she said Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is like, what is the use of studying so many Vedas and you don't know who God is? Because the conclusion of the Vedas is to know. Dvau imau purusha loge kshara akshara eva cha kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto akshara uchyate. There are two classes of being, fallible and infallible. The material world, every living entity is fallible, and the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. So what is Krishna's another name? Because he's infallible?
Achyuta.
Achyuta, yes. Krishna is called Achyuta because he is infallible. He doesn't fall from the position of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he became the chariot driver of Arjuna. And also Krishna never fails to reciprocate to his devotees. Okay, in that way Krishna doesn't fall. And Krishna doesn't fall from the spiritual world, he appears. But we fall down. We fell down from the spiritual world. So we are Achyuta, we fall down, but Krishna doesn't fall down. He is Achyuta. So there are two types of living entities. Living entities are part and parcel of the Lord. So in that way, we are also Sachidananda in quality, but in quantity, we are just minute spark. And so every living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. And we should always remember that how we are part and parcel of the Lord. Okay, so there is an breakout room here. Make a list of significant philosophical points relevant for preaching Krishna consciousness. 15.7 and 16.15 purport. 15.7 is that Mamemam Cho Jivalo Jiva Vidasanadana. How we are part and parcel of Krishna and we are suffering because of our Kashtati, because of this material nature and the senses. And 15.15 says that Krishna is situated in our heart as Paramatma, and studying of Vedas is to know him. Krishna is the one who gave us remembrance, forgetfulness, and all that. And okay, so we'll just move to. So that is a preaching application. So we can have 5 minutes breakout room. Okay. Relevant for preaching Krishna consciousness. Take some points from these two slokas, which will help you to preach Krishna consciousness. And how will you put forward? Okay. 15.7 and 15.15. Please go through only those purports and quickly we'll come back.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, what happened?
Mataji, I am in which group?
Rajalakshmi Mataji, you can go to room number 2. Wait.
Thank you, Mataji.
Ashwini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you're able to join.
Yeah, Mataji, I was just about to join Mataji. Today you're going to tell the marks, Mataji, for the open book assignment.
Yeah, you can just share it to me here in the chat and then you can leave, Madhu.
Okay, Mataji.
Just share it here. Okay.
Okay, yes, I'll just share it now, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hi, Krishna, all are back? Yes. Okay, so we'll take the breakout room question after some time. I'll just share the attendance link. We'll finish the chapter and go for breakout room. By then you can fill the attendance. Okay, so we'll continue. So 15.16 to 18, they are called the three sloki of Bhagavad Gita. Chatusloki we saw in the 10th chapter, 8 to 11 verses. Gita Rahasya is 18.65. Okay, that is Manmana Bhamatpata. Charan Sloki is 66. Sarvadharma Pariteja. So here we'll see about 16 to 18 sloka now. Krishna having stated that he is the knower of the Vedas in 3 verses will give the Vedanta summary of the Vedas. So these 3 verses are referred to as the three sloki Gita because it gives the complete relationship between Jiva and Krishna, the Sambandha. Okay, and Krishna in 19th sloka he explains the Abhideya or the process of attaining Krishna, and 20th is the Prayojana or goal. So I hope all of you notice that the Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Sambandha means our relationship with Krishna. So that we'll see in 16 to 18. Then 19th we'll see the Abhideya. Abhideya is the process by which we can go back to Krishna. And the 20th sloka is the Prayojana, the goal. Okay, so we say Krishna Sambandha, Bhakti Avideya and Prema Prayojana. Sixteenth sloka says, Thou imo Purusha Loge Kshara Akshara Evicha. So we finished that. 17th says, Uttama Purushastu Anya Paramatmedi Uta Hrida Yo Logo Prema Vishya Vibhakti Avaya Ishvara. Beside these 2, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who entered the threefold and is maintaining us. So Krishna, so we have fallible and infallible as we discussed. Fallible means the living entity because we fall. And spiritual world, and Krishna is infallible or he is Achyuta because he doesn't fall. But in the 17th sloka, he says the essence of the Vedas. He says there is the Supreme Lord, the Super Soul. It's actually imperishable and who have entered into the 3 world and is maintaining them. So Krishna is the one who actually maintains us. So Krishna, which Vishnu is the one who's actually creating the different universe? So you can see from his sweat pores, different universes are created. Who is this? Lying. Which among the 3 Vishnus, who's the one who's creating the different
Garbhodakashayi Vishnu.
planetary system?
Mataji, Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu is also called as?
Karanadakshay
Karanadakshay.
Right. Yes, so that's a Karanadakshay Vishnu from whose sweat pore or from whose breathing different universes can be seen. And then, as Madhuri said, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu is actually the one who is actually lying in the Garbhodakshay ocean and from whose navel the lotus comes and all the Atala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Patala, all that upper and lower planetary system comes because of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. The main cause of creation, the creation is done by Mahavishnu or Karanadakshay Vishnu. Karana, it means cause. And the Lord becomes Garbhodakshay Vishnu and from whose navel Brahma is born and different planetary system comes. And who's the one who's acting as Paramatma in a heart?
Mataji, Kshirodakshay Vishnu.
Kshirodakshay.
Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So all the 3. So these are the Purusha avatars of the Lord. Okay, all the 3. That is Karanadakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So these 3 of them actually is the one who actually is the cause of all this creation. So Krishna is the one who is maintaining us. Okay, this is our relationship with the Lord. He says that we are part and parcel of the Lord, but Krishna is the one who actually is the creator. Krishna says, Aham Bija Pratapita. He is the seed-giving father. Okay, so Nitya Nityanam Chedanas Chedananam. Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is the one who is maintaining everybody. Okay, the example of a spider. Okay, anybody knows that? What a spider does? How is a spider compared for the Lord's creation? Spider.
It creates the web
Yes.
with the fine threads and destroys itself.
So how does it do the creation with the of the web?
Supreme Personality of God created everything and
No, the spider creates the web. How does it create the web? Does anyone know?
Mataji by its own saliva.
Saliva. So So the spider from its own saliva creates the cobweb, maintains it, and also annihilates it. He only sometimes destroys it. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why we have to clean it up. So it's like the spider itself creates, maintains, and destroys. Similarly, the Lord creates, maintains, and destroys. So he is the one who actually maintains everyone as of us. Yasmaksharam atito aham aksharat apichodama atosmi lokave desha printa purushottama. Because he's transcendental, beyond both fallible and infallible, and because he's the greatest, he's celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as Supreme Person. So Krishna is transcendental, means beyond this material world or beyond the three modes of material nature. And he's beyond the fallible and infallible, and he is the greatest, means nobody is equal to him or greater than him. And he is celebrated in both the world and the Vedas as the Supreme. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. He is the Supreme, or Govinda is Adi Purusha. Okay, so this is our relationship, Sambandha. Like we should know what is our Sambandha with Krishna. That means Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is our seed-giving Father. So that is our Sambandha. Now next sloka, 19th sloka says the Avideya, or the process by which we can know Krishna. So what is it? Yo mamevam asammundo janadi purushottamam sarva vidbhajanti mam sarva bhavena bharata. So whoever know Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead without doubting, you should not doubt Krishna. Because if we doubt, we fall down. He is the knower of everything. And he engaged himself in full devotional service to him, O son of Bharata. So after knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality God, what should we do? We should engage in devotional service. That is the avideya, the process. Bhakti is the process by which we can revive our lost consciousness or our relationship with the Lord. So whoever knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality God without doubting. So we should not doubt, oh, Krishna is supreme or somebody else is supreme. No. So if we doubt, then we won't get that full benefit. If without doubting, we know that then we know everything. And one should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to Krishna. Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasa Bhritya. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Ekala Ishvara Krishna. There's only one Ishvara who is Krishna. Rest everyone is Bhritya, servants. And anyone who's able to understand this, according to the Supreme Personality God, Shri Krishna knows the purpose of the Veda. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality God, and he is the sum of God. And means one without a second. Okay, he is the Supreme. So what should we do after knowing that? We should engage in this devotional service. We should chant his holy name. We should do devotional service to Krishna. That is our process or avideya. So Krishna says, Bhajanti Mam Sarva Bhavena Bharat. So they should engage himself in full devotional service to Krishna, or son of Bharat. And what is the prayojana? So once we know Krishna is the Supreme Personality God, once we know that we should do devotional service to Krishna, then what is the goal? Prema prayojana. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uttamaya anaga edat dimansya krita krityasya bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures of sinless one, and it's disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and this endeavor will know perfection. So whoever knows that Krishna is the Supreme and do devotional service, we will go back to Krishna, or we will reach that perfection. So in this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from this weakness of the heart. The rest of the chapter from 6th verse through the end discuss the Purushottama Yoga, because Krishna is Purusha Uttam, then the best among Purusha. So we are talking about Purushottama Yoga, or the yoga or connecting to Purushottama or Krishna. So here we saw that in the chapter 15, this material world is compared to a banyan tree. Shakam Ashrutam Prahiravya Chandam Siyasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda. Mulamada Shaka. So the branches are, the roots are upward and the branches are downward. So we saw the banyan tree analogy. We also saw Purushottama Yoga, like the meaning, like why is Krishna called the Supreme. And we saw the connection between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. And we saw the process by which we can go back to him, that's devotional service. And the last sloka, we saw the prayojana, how we can attain Krishna. So Prabhupada says, as long as the living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as we reach the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false perverted tree of the material world, he becomes liberated. We get moksha. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. No more coming back. And in this condition life, the living entity considers himself to be the Lord of this material world. But in a liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme. Therefore, he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full of bliss. That is Satchidananda. Okay, we'll be having a good life. So now we'll take the discussion that in 15.7 and 15.15. What are the preaching applications? So what are the different points? Where is it? How do we, 15.7, 15.8, the philosophical points relevant for preaching, okay, from the verse and purpose. So can we start from, room number 1?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I will present. First, the 15.7. Mame vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So this verse is telling a very important point that the living entity is eternally a part of Krishna. So we are basically Sanatan Ansha. So this is very important because impersonalists have idea that eventually we will become one with the God, but we will merge with his existence. But here it is clearly said that we are part. So the part cannot become whole. Just like the fire and spark, qualitatively, fire and spark have same quality, but the spark does not have the same power which fire has. This is called the Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, which means we are one with the God in quality, but we are not one. We are two. Like legs are also made up of the same composition as the body. And another example is of the gold mine and gold particles. Each and every bit of the gold particle has the same quality as the gold, but the quantity is different. Living entity maintains its individuality, even though we are part and parcel of Krishna. Like in the Prabhupada also said that we are the Vibhinansh, like secondary expansion of Krishna. So here Krishna also used the word karshati, which means the struggling very hard. Conditioned soul is bound by the false ego, and this is the cause of our struggle. We are struggling very hard with the mind and senses, mana, shasthani, indriyani, in the material world. Every living entity has minute independence. And if we used in the service of Lord, ones get liberated. And if we misuse, then we get trapped by the 3 modes of material nature and get conditioned. And the second one is the 15.15. Sarvasya chaham vidhi sanivishto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedecha sarver aham eva vedya vedant kridvet videv chaham. So Supreme Lord is basically telling us Supreme Lord is residing in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So he is the witness of all our activities, and he gives us the remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Like if we remember each and like how we give, like forgetfulness is very important. Like if we remember each and every occurrences, especially the miseries which are experienced throughout our unlimited birth, then we would remain unable to function. So that's how the forgetfulness is important, and how he's giving the knowledge. Krishna basically acts internally as a Chaitya Guru Mataji, and this was also explained in the 13th chapter, like Updrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehe Asmin Purusha Para. So same Krishna, who is dwelling inside as a Chaitya Guru, is present externally as a Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That's how he gives us jnana, and this jnana will help us to increase our attraction toward Krishna and increase our desire to surrender to Krishna. If one attraction toward is not increasing, towards Krishna is not increasing, then it's just a waste of time. And then the last is he's the compiler itself. Is telling that Krishna is telling that by all the Veda he is to be known, because he is the compiler of the Veda, Vedant. And why he is the compiler? Because Vyasadeva is the literal incarnation of the Lord. He compiled all the Veda. So that's why everyone should surrender to Krishna. That's other points. Mataji. These are the Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, from group 2. Neetu Bacha Mataji has wonderfully explained with all the technical points. I would like to add few more points, or I would like to extend whatever we had the discussion in our group. The first point is of Bhagavad Gita 15.7.
Yes.
The living entities in this condition. Yes, Mataji. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
You can hear. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So yes, in 15.7, it is said the living entities in this conditioned world are Shri Krishna's eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. And in the discussion, we had the point that mind is the biggest enemy, which is very difficult to control. And Rishikesha, Shri Krishna, is the master of the senses. If we surrender to him, definitely our mind will be under control. And while preaching, we'll put this aspect to the world that how to control the mind and why is it very important to put our mind in the mode of goodness. Because of this contamination with material nature, we enter into the mode of ignorance, passion, and we forget Sri Krishna on the way. But our ultimate goal should be to reach Sri Krishna. And how? Only by devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sevana, Pada Seva, and Vaishnava Seva, Annadana, like those kind of devotional service, if we do, we can reach Sri Krishna. And one more point we discussed that we all are struggling in this material world for comfort and happiness. But why is that? Because we are always in the mode of passion and ignorance. And it is clear, Srila Prabhupada says that it is clear. However, in this verse 15.7, the conditioned soul is covered by material body. And everything is temporary. Dukhalyam ashashvatam. Then why are we so much bound to be in this material world for happiness? The real happiness is spiritual happiness. And then the point we discussed was we are part and parcel of God. And just like example we discussed, on a branch of a tree, there are two birds. One is eating a fruit and another bird is looking at it. Similarly, Shri Krishna is in our heart in the form of Paramatma, like how we discussed. Shirodaksha Vishnu is the Paramatma living in everyone's heart, be it a dog or dog eater. Shri Krishna was present. In our 84 lakh species, we went through, Shri Krishna was there with us even at that time as well. But now in this human form of life that we have got, only devotional service we are able to do. Cats and dogs, they can't do that. So this aspect while preaching will focus about the free will, how we can use it to transform our life, Mataji. And in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, we discussed that Shri Krishna himself incarnated as Krishna Dvaipayan Veda Vyasa and wrote all the scriptures. There are four Vedas, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, 108 Upanishads, 18 Mahapuranas, and which we are discussing right now is Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Purana, they also say that. So mainly everything Vedas, Upanishads, and Puranas glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we have the written authority claiming Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why are we running away from it? So in this way, we had a wonderful discussion. Like these points we'll put forward while preaching using the verses 15.7 and 15.15, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone likes to add anything? Yeah, very good points. Both the team have given nice good points on preaching application. Yes. Okay. Actually, this chapter can be used in a nice way to preach because this chapter clearly mentions about Krishna and our position, the living entities position. What are we and what is who is the Lord? So it's clearly mentioned, and we can really use this for preaching. Okay. So we finished chapter 15 today. And after the 16th chapter, we'll have one more open book. And after 18th chapter, we'll have a closed book. So we're done with Bhagavad Gita, and we'll start nectar of devotion as soon as possible. And I can finish fast. Okay. So I think we can close here. Any more doubts? This chapter is easily understandable, nothing to know, because whatever Krishna says, we should accept it as it is. We should not doubt, because for the doubting conditioned soul, there is no good life, Prabhupada says, like in this life or next life, because we will definitely go down. The demons, they always doubt Krishna. They don't have any. So you've seen Prahlad Maharaj, how confident he was that Krishna will definitely protect him. So that faith should come in us. The more the faith comes, the more we can have advanced. So the faith will come as we pray to the Lord or by chanting. And chanting, by reading, by listening scriptures, our faith in Krishna will increase. Hare Krishna, everyone. So I think we can stop here. Hare Krishna. Next Monday is Ekadashi, right? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Rajlakshmi Mataji, what is it?
Hare Krishna, can I ask one question, Mataji, last
Ah,
chapter?
yes,
How,
yes.
how Mahatattva can be defined, Mataji?
Mahatattva is actually an external energy of the Lord. It is actually the 24 elements, Mataji. If you go to Google, you can have this picture also. There are 24 elements, all our senses, working senses, knowledge acquiring senses, all the pradhana, everything comes under that. Okay, so that's the Mahatattva. And Krishna maintains this material world in that way. Like the Mahatattva is actually how Krishna maintains this material world. And that's actually the, so you can see this picture. If you zoom it, it gives you, so this Back to Godhead magazine, in a magazine Prabhupada have mentioned. See, you can see this picture. So this is the
Mataji.
Mahatattva, the 24 elements. Okay, like you have the earth, water, fire, air, ether, that's the gross elements 5. And then you have the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, false ego. Then we have the knowledge acquiring sense and 5 working senses. Like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch, also voice, legs, hands, evacuating and reproductive organs. You can zoom it a little bit. Okay, so you can see here. So the earth, water, fire, air, ether is the 5 gross element. Then you have the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, false ego. Then 5 knowledge acquiring sense, 5 working sense. Then we have the object of sense like form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and pleasure, pain, desire, hatred, all that. Along with the super soul. Super soul is also a part of the 24 elements. This is actually the Mahatattva, the world which we live. So this is the Mahatattva, and Krishna maintains the material world is actually maintained by this everything. All these are Krishna's energy. Krishna's energy, and Krishna maintains this. And this is the Mahatattva, the 24 material elements. This picture gives a nice, you can easily to remember and also to understand this image. Okay, Hare Krishna. You can go in Google and search.